Hey guys, what's good? JB Illusion here, and I just got done watching, the first episode of the new Samurai Jack. Oh man, I can't believe this is actually happening because it's been forever. It feels like I was a kid when I watched it, first, and it's just awesome to see it come back. The art style is still the same. It's still amazing, and there's definitely some changes, I gotta say, to kind of just the tone and the feel of this Samurai Jack versus the original one. I mean, it is on quite a bit later, so I guess they could get away with a couple more things that they might not have gotten away on the original Samurai Jack, although the original did get, over some stuff. I also, grew up at the time when Evangelion somehow made it to Toonami at what was it, 5 o'clock? After the first two episodes, that changed very quickly. But back to Samurai Jack, I'm going to attempt to not give you guys too many spoilers. If something does happen, I'll try to, throw up a spoiler tag, slip of the mouth. It will happen. So, first off, let's start with, the commercial because everyone's seen it. So, Samurai Jack has always been someone who saves people. Kind of obvious if you've seen anything from the original. Saves somebody, sadly does not get where he wanted to beat Aku, and then that's kind of how the episode went, and then he would go on to the next situation where he was looking for something to find Aku, travel back into the past, kill Aku maybe in the future, and sadly something happened and it was nixed. So this episode actually does start off kind of par the course, where Samurai Jack is saving people from Aku's minions. You saw that in the commercial. And what is interesting is, due to the events of, the season finale, I guess we could call that now, Jack kind of lost his sword. Yeah. So what he has done is he's adapted other things. He's actually using technology to fight Aku. Still, which I find is awesome. I mean, we can tell a lot of time has passed because he's got the beard, his hair is just insane. But I really like the fact that he's learned how to use certain weapons to adapt against Aku. There is a spear that he uses that doesn't exactly have a trident tip, but he uses that weird tip to get inside the Scarab robots and kind of just twist and pull all their circuitry apart, which was awesome. Which is, I think, frankly, maybe a little bit of a better way to... No, the sword was probably better, but he's kind of out of that. He's now using a gun, which is insane to me. I can't really process Jack using a gun, but I have to admit, he is a fairly good shot. So, after that, he rides off into the sunset, having saved another person among the probably millions they saved at this point. And then we start, finding out more and more about what's happened to Jack in the interim between that season finale and this season starting up. And yeah, Jack has been here for a considerable amount of time. I'm not going to tell you how long, but yeah. I mean, in the original series, I assume that he had been there, for a couple years, just to get around the world, see all the stuff that Aku's done. But Jack has been here for, I don't want to say forever, but yeah, Sandlot, forever. And it's wearing down on him, which is the thing. Throughout the episode, there are these moments where you can see that he feels guilt, I guess is what we could say. Guilt, maybe just shame about the fact that he has been here this long. He still hasn't found a way to travel back into the past. He still hasn't even beaten Aku, and now he doesn't even have his sword. So it's just the mental anguish that I think is really interesting, as opposed to the original series where, yeah, he got sad. Yeah, he couldn't do specific things, but he would always pick himself up again and march forward, sword in tow. Now, it's a whole different ball game. So, we also see something that I thought was very interesting. where there is an obvious issue. There's an obvious thing that's happening. But instead, Jack is just kind of on his own. I mean, we saw him save somebody, but he kind of just, I want to say, willingly just said, whatever. But he arrived to the location, let's say, with a considerable amount of time passing, as opposed to, just hauling off gung-ho like he usually did to just destroy whatever terrible monster or robot or whatever was causing the problem. And we do get an awesome fight scene. It was actually ridiculous how good it was. And we also get more of Jack, just the toll, the mental toll of what has happened is just like clawing at his mind. It's actually kind of sad to see, but it's also a very interesting way that they took this character. And I really gotta say, I love it. I love seeing this new Samurai Jack. He's kind of weary, he's beaten down. He's still an amazing fighter. But it's just taking its toll on him. I mean, he did manage to beat another one of Aku's minions, which was awesome. But, there's just something missing there. And I think we're going to see something very interesting. Maybe someone who can actually, boost his confidence, fix himself mentally in the future. But I also need to talk about the other main part of this episode, which is, apparently a woman who obviously works for Aku. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Does something for Aku, has now trained assassins to go after Jack. So the basic story is that these are things essentially created just to destroy Jack. There are robots who have been created to destroy Jack, but these are actual, people. And we do get to see a little bit of their training and how they were raised. And there were some very interesting parallels to, well, I guess you could say there were very interesting parallels to Jack at the beginning of season 1, where Aku shows up, everything goes down with his father, and Jack has to leave and train under all of these different martial artists and masters to get to the point where he can take on Aku in adulthood. And there's a very, very interesting parallel between Jack and the people who, as you saw in the commercial, I'm not spoiling anything, she yells, "Get the samurai!" Well, kill the samurai. And yeah, that is going to be very interesting. The next episode will be Jack squaring up with, I'm going to call them the seven people created to kill Samurai Jack. And it's going to be very interesting considering the fact that he doesn't have his sword. And he's in a very unique mental state. Not just that, but he's going to be fighting against, other people. We've seen Jack actually lose a couple times in the original series. I mean, I love the Scotsman. The Scotsman could take him on, which was fairly interesting. But there have been a couple times where Jack got waxed. And I wonder if this is going to be another one of those times. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching. I'm JB Illusion. If you would like to subscribe, hit the subscribe button down below. If you like this, like it. If you didn't like it, well, you can downvote if you want to. Also, tell me if you guys like me talking about this. If someone out there liked me talking about this. And, as always, be excellent to each other. Peace. Have a good day.